So I decided to go home, kill my kids, and kill myself. And we started coming to my house to cry together, to share. Even you'll find out this patient came with vegetable, another patient with maize flour. We cook in my house, we eat together, we cry together, and then they left. So we started like 4 of us, and then 10. Now we are talking more than 200 cancer patients and survivors.
And you just show me so mesmerized by what she's doing. So as you can see, this is actually what Millicent does for a living, you know. These handmade carpets, just so amazing. I've been watching her. I can't even, you know, like figure it out. She's used this and she has to cut them, yeah?
Yes.
In a cut one, oh my god, they're all like this.
Yes, we need to cut them before you make the carpet because they need to be balanced so that you don't waste any thread.
Okay, so I need you to just do one part and do it slowly so we can get to see exactly how you're doing it. Then you put it there, you pull, and
the needle has a hook, so the hook is really very helpful. Or you can do it like this. You take the yarn,
pull. What? Gosh, she does it so easily, and you just can't figure it out, you know. And this is now how many colors? These are so many colors.
Yes. We call this type of carpet, we call it chafua.
Chafua.
Means that we have mixed every color, and then it's beautiful. Like when you go to a hotel and you want everything on the plate. So there is veggies, letter chafua.
There's veggies. There's what?
There is beans, there is stew, there is matumbo, one bone, ugali, and rice. So that is chafua.
Oh my goodness, this is just so beautiful. And she brought the big one because, you know, I told her I actually need one from my house. This one you're specifically making for me. There's no ordering even above, you know, this amount. Now when it's big like this, let me just spread it so that Fred can show you. And it's very soft, you know.
Yeah,
very soft and warm. Trust me, you're doing an amazing job, right?
Thank you.
And this one is mine. I have to repeat that. So what's the cost of making this? You know, it's warm, it's beautiful. I mean, it's worth whatever it is, you know. But just for someone who would like to know.
First, we need to buy this one. We call it stripless. We buy it at 3,000 shillings. And then the carpet itself, we need like 100 yards, more than 100. So we need 100 yards. So the material only we use here, it looks like 13,000 Kenyan shillings.
Wow.
So we sell the whole carpet at 18,000 so that we can have something like labor.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And by the way, just in case you do not know about this, once they make this, it's actually the money is actually going out there to support those who are actually having challenges with cancer, right? The survivors, and and even those who've just found out that they have cancer, they don't have the money for medication, and they can actually have this sold out, and then they can use the money to support them.
Yes, mostly we use the money to pay for their NHIF, National Health Insurance Fund, because now the NHIF needs to, you need to pay more than 1 year. Even others are required to pay for 2 years so that they can get the treatment. And then in where I'm living, I also have an accommodation for the patients who are living out of Nairobi, and they're coming to do their treatment at Kenyatta. So some of the money we use it to pay for the rent and also to give them transport from Kariobangi to Kenyatta. Yes.
Okay, just sit here. We're going to do a lot of talking from here. Hello, my dear. How are you doing today? My name is Millicent AROKA. Welcome to AROKA Media, where today on Impact I have a cancer survivor. Her name is like mine, Millicent, only has a Kagonga in it. Her name is Millicent Kagonga. She's had cervical cancer, so she's been a cancer survivor, and you'll find out for how long. I've loved her story and wanted to share it with you because she's gone through so much. She's gone through stigma, she's gone through, I mean, there's just so much to her story that I'd like you to, just listen out to today. Karibu sana to the show, Mami.
Asante.
It's such an honor to have you on the show today. And we are sitting out here. Today we are actually sitting here while doing the interview because this is what she does for a living, and she does it so well that I had to, just ask her to bring this one over so that she could just show you this. But Millicent, I want you to tell us about you, the cancer story, let's go back to when you got to find out that you have cancer. What happened? What were you feeling? And at what point did you actually go to the hospital to find out about your condition?
I'm Millicent Kagonga. I'm a cervical cancer survivor. I'm the HPV vaccine ambassador in Kenya, my daughter being the first one to be vaccinated. I'm also the founder of Symbol of Hope Warriors, the community-based organization that I started in Kariobangi. So I normally love to start my journey at where it started itself. To give more knowledge to other people struggling out there. So my journey started at the age of 14 when I got my firstborn, and I got my secondborn at the age of 16. I also got my thirdborn at the age of 20. So when I was 20 years, it was a difficult year because that is the same year I lost my secondborn at the age of 4, and then I started having the signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. And I was married by then, and I was living at the slum called the Korogosho, and we didn't have any knowledge about cervical cancer or any type of cancer because we thought cancer is the sickness for the rich people,
yes.
Whereby I was wrong. Now I know better. So I started having these symptoms, and it was a challenge in my marriage. When I talk about marriage, I say, I mean, when we were having I want to use a nice word because of the kids.
Yes.
When we were when we were doing it at night, it was very, very challenging because of the discharge. I was having abnormal discharge by then, and then I lost my marriage because of the discharge, the abnormal discharge. And I left my marriage in 2010. I kept quiet because I never wanted to talk in our community at Korogocho. We were not allowed to talk anything behind the belt. So I kept quiet for almost 5 years until one day I saw someone on my employee's television talking about my employer. I was talking about signs and symptoms of cervical cancer, and the lady was talking exactly the things that I was going through: pelvic pain, back pain, and hip pain, and then having the abnormal discharge. I talked to my boss. I was a house girl by then, and then my boss insisted that I can go to the hospital. So I went to the first facility, and I was told I was young. I was 25 years by then. I was told I'm still young, I can't have cervical cancer.
Oh,
So
just a minute. Let me take you back. At first, you were going through something,
yeah.
and you didn't know what was happening to you. You even talked about you losing your marriage. At the time when you were losing your marriage, did your husband know, or even yourself, did you guys know what was happening to you when you were having this discharge and all that? You had no idea what was happening.
You know, when we as women or anyone else, when you are going through a challenge, you try to look for a solution out there. So I tried to tell someone I'm having this. I didn't tell them it is me, but I told them someone I know is having this and this, and they were telling me, oh, that is a witchcraft, that is, maybe it is a cane from God, maybe the person needs to pray a lot. So we didn't know what I was going through. So my husband decided to move on.
Okay.
Yes.
So his major reason for moving on was because of this discharge, and he was not comfortable with it.
Yes, and I wasn't able to satisfy him. Maybe I can use that.
Okay. Now that brings us to something else. There's somebody else who's just hearing you talking about cervical cancer right now. They've heard about perhaps several cancers, but let's zero in on this one so that those who do not know about it, like you didn't know about it, could know what really goes on. What are some of those symptoms that if somebody sees, then they really need to go to the hospital and find out, just in case it might just be cancer?
Thank you very much for that question. At first, I would love to tell women out there, cervical cancer, like in Kenya, it is the leading, because the statistics says that every day we lose more than 9 women per day in Kenya, 9 women to cervical cancer, and it's the only cancer that
is preventable.
Yeah. And then it's the only cancer that if you got it early, it is easier to be treated, and it is the cancer that is killing our women, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, whereby it is not a good news here in Kenya. Yeah. So
so the signs, the symptoms, that if you see, then you really need to find out from a doctor what's happening.
And then second, I wouldn't advise women to wait for the signs and symptoms, because some of the signs comes at advanced
very late stage.
Yes, so it is very important for a woman to make sure your daughter is vaccinated, and also to make sure you have done your pap smear every year, which is very important. And women who has HIV, women who are HIV positive, 10 times their risk are 10 times to get cervical cancer. So don't wait for the signs, but I can tell you the signs, but remember the signs that you are having when you have cervical cancer. They are the same signs that you have when you have infection, fibroids, or maybe ovarian cancer. So don't wait for the signs. But if I maybe talk about the signs, it is the pelvic pain, and the first sign is the abnormal discharge. We as women, I understand we have the discharge, but now this discharge is very abnormal. It comes out like it is a lot. You need to use a pad. The discharge that you need to use a pad, even 10 pads per day or more. And then we have pelvic pain, we have back pain, we have hip pain, and then we have you lose weight, and then lose of appetite.
Wow.
Yes. And then another sign of cervical cancer is when you're having your period. The blood is very dark. It's not the lighter blood that we normally see. So it is very dark, the dark one.
So at the time when you were actually being diagnosed with this cancer, at what stage were you?
Wow. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I was at stage 4. Yes. And I remember the day that I was told you have cervical cancer, stage 4. I died. I fainted And I was thinking maybe I'm going to find myself in heaven. Until when I woke up, I found myself in earth. The doctors waiting for me to tell me you have cervical cancer. So
that's really sad. And what then happened? You know, after realizing that you have cancer, you had even lost your marriage because of this, because you know you and your husband didn't even know what was happening. Did you try reaching out to him? You know, just to explain this must have been what was happening to you.
You know, as two people, when you are getting separate ways, there is this talking about bad things about another person.
Yes.
So it happens in my marriage, and I wasn't comfortable to reach out to him because I knew he's going to laugh at me. So I did not reach out to him, and I did not reach out to him.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the journey of having to now go into cancer treatment. First of all, you were living in Korogosho, which is a slum in Nairobi. And, you know, what was the costing like? You know, having to go to, which hospital were you going to? Kenyatta? Okay. You know, going there, the trips and all that, and even the fact that you're saying you have to use like 10 pads in a day. How was that like? Give us that journey.
When I saw where I was living, it was difficult for me to get sanitary towels, so I was using my t-shirts. I was using my t-shirts to take off the abnormal discharge. And then when I was told I have cancer, I started thinking, I started having those thoughts that now someone told me, if you are having these signs, you are bewitched, maybe it is a cane from God. Even it was very difficult to sit with other women or in the congregation because of the smelly that I was having.
Or the discharge has a smell too.
Yes, it was very smelly. So I decided to go home, kill my kids, and kill myself.
Home shags or what?
Yes, shags. So I decided to go there because by then I was a house girl somewhere. So I decided to go home, kill my kids and kill my...
Where was home?
In Western.
In Western?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got home?
Yes, I...
And did what? Because clearly you're here, so something must have happened. What?
Okay, I got home, and in that process of planning how to do it, I found out I got a lady visited. I visited our home. And started telling me about the gynecology. We have a gyna at Viga district called Dr. Koba, and then she really encouraged me to go and see him. I went and saw him, and the gynecology was very helpful. He was the one who did for me the final test called biopsy, and then he referred me back to Kenyatta for my treatment. I did my treatment on... I started having the symptoms at 2010. I was diagnosed in 2015. I did my treatment in 2017. And in 2017, when I was doing my treatment, I had a problem. Even a place to live was a challenge. So I was among those people. If you can go to maybe Twitter, or maybe you can see when one of the television came took our photos at the casualty at Kenyatta National Hospital because we didn't have a place to sleep, and we were doing radiotherapy.
Which station was this?
Citizen. And we were sleeping at the corridors, and we needed to do our treatment, so it was very challenging. And in 2017 alone, I got 14 pints of blood because of heavy bleeding, and because of chemotherapy. I got anemic, and yes. Wow.
Yeah, because it's good that you've talked about this process at Kenyatta, because I wanted to know the different ways of treating cancer. So which particular one were you going through? You went through radiotherapy, you went through what else?
Okay, what
kind of treatment were you given?
I was to do radiotherapy, 25 cycles of radiotherapy, 6 cycles of chemotherapy, and 3 cycles of brachytherapy. Brachytherapy is actually the painful one for patient going through cervical cancer. So I was only able to do 25 cycles of radiotherapy, and then I did 3 cycles of chemotherapy. By then I didn't have money for my blood works, because my NHI was paying for my chemo. So I needed money for my blood works, but I didn't have money by then. And then brachytherapy, I was to do 3 cycles. By then Kenyatta machine wasn't working. I did it at Nairobi Hospital, and it's very expensive. You can imagine, it's 3 cycles, and it is 40,000 per session. But thank God by then NHI was paying it, so I only needed to top up 8,000, which I didn't have. And I reached out to Africa Cancer Foundation, which is led by Governor Nyong, I think, and then they were the one who paid for my brachytherapy.
Wow. Congratulations to Governor Nyongo. He's done a lot.
It's called the Africa Cancer Foundation.
Yeah, Africa Cancer Foundation. Yeah, it's a great thing, you know, coming up with the projects that literally are saving lives. You know, we just need to congratulate you, and as more people as they can be. The Texas Cancer Center, even in Nairobi, also helps in that, you know. Thank you so much for saving lives out here. Now, having gone through that, and your visits to Kenyatta, and reaching the point where you could not, you know, where you used to sleep in the corridors, like you said, it was shown on TV. I want you to now bring us to this organization that you formed. It's called Symbol
Of Hope.
Symbol of Hope. Even before you get to tell us what you guys do, what I've loved about this when I was still checking out your story is the fact that you said you guys were able to just come together to cry. You know, that is something so deep, you know. Forget even about the fact that they would come together, do all these carpets. They would just come together to cry together. Tell me about that.
Okay, when you are going through the treatment, you are facing a lot of challenges, and another person who is not going through cancer journey, or maybe who has not been to cancer journey, is not easy to understand you. Even a doctor, sometimes doctors don't understand us. So when I was going through the cancer journey, at first, now Kenyatta have gone very far. By then Kenyatta was behind. By then Kenyatta didn't have navigation. Now Kenyatta has the navigation. By then we didn't have, they're walking from office, from
by navigation, what do you mean?
To guide the person, to guide you. Now you are starting cancer treatment, you are going to expect this and this and this.
Yes.
In our days, you are told now you'll be doing the treatment, but you are not able to be told you'll be doing 25 cycles, and then you need to do this. By then we didn't have it at Kenyatta, but now we have it. And then in our days, you need to go from this place to this place. You could even spend the whole day just doing the walking, and you haven't reached the treatment yet. So when we were sleeping at the corridors at Kenyatta, we were able to support each other, and those who were coming from their places, they were able to bring us food and even water, even soap. So I got that love, and that love really touched me. And then I said myself, if God is going to give me another chance, I'm going also to support other people, and especially where I come from. In the slum of Korogosho, but I left Korogosho, I came to Kariobangi. So I told myself, I'm just going to change the mentality of the people who are living there, because if I was able to keep quiet with the symptoms for 5 years, what about the other Millicent out there? So I started by coming to Kenyatta, not for treatment, but to guide people, or maybe to tell the patient, just sit down, I'll do the walking for you, because I had the energy. And then we came with in my house, I started talking to my neighbors, because I was chased from one place because of the toilet. Other tenants thought that I'm going to infect them with the
when they got to know that you have cancer.
Yes. So to other plot, I told myself,
this was a shared toilet.
Yes.
Okay.
We normally share.
Yes.
So where I am, I told myself I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to tell people I have cancer. So when I started telling people I have cancer, my neighbor had breast cancer, and already the wound was open. So when I said I had cancer, and then she said, even me. So I told myself, now we are not going to keep quiet.
Yeah.
She was a widow, but now she's late. We started coming to my house to cry together, to share. Even you'll find out this patient came with vegetable, another patient with maize flour. We cook in my house, we eat together,
Wow.
we cry together, and then they left. So we started like 4 of us, and then 10. Now we are talking more than 200 cancer patients and survivors. And Symbol of Hope Warriors was the first community-based organization to be in East London. Yeah, in east of Nairobi.
Yes.
That is East London.
Yeah.
So and that is where we have a lot of slums, and people didn't have the knowledge. But our biggest aim was to stop stigma in the community.
Yes.
Because this stigma is the one leading for us to lose more patients because of the stigma. And I'm glad we were able to stop the stigma.
I want you to take me back to this point where you had shared toilet. Okay, what did you go through? You know, how are the people there behaving towards you when they got to know about you having cancer?
Okay, at first maybe they knew I had cancer, or maybe they didn't knew, but the smell itself talks, you know. So because of that smell, and it was a plot, so they thought, now I'm going to give them cancer. They were closing the toilet with the okay, that is a very emotional story. So okay,
It is well.
they use the padlock to close the toilet, and I was doing everything in the bucket. So my kids were the one who maybe they wait for the neighbors' kids to open the toilet so that they can take care of what I already used in the bucket. So it wasn't a nice journey.
Okay. By the way, thank you so much for sharing your story. You know, it's not every day that one would open up with this, but you know, we're doing it because it's going to help somebody else out there. And I love the fact that you said you are working as a housemaid somewhere, and just hearing this story from somebody else made you realize, oh, that's what I'm going through. Somebody else is also going to be watching this and know it's okay, you know, what I'm going through. Someone might even think of, you know, committing suicide, like you said. And even remember, you are working as a house help. You are maybe taking care of somebody else's child. If those people mistreated you, that same feeling of I want to go and kill my kids, you know, it could come to you like, let me just finish off this family.
Yeah.
They're feeling good and I'm suffering, you know. So people need to even just, you know, as they have their workers and everything, learn to embrace them, learn that people, even as they are working for you, they have their own personal challenges.
Yes.
And so you need to be really nice so that they don't end up, you know, doing something bad, because we've had those instances where a house help, you know, just kills the family, and people are like, what was that? What did the woman do to them? Or so, you know, but sometimes they have their own issues, you know, as it comes out, that they're probably trying to deal with. So we've got to also thank this the family that was living with you, you know, for even telling you, you know, now you need to get to the hospital, now you need to get help.
The family I was living with by then, it was the family that you can pray for to have it, and because they treated me like one of their own. The lady actually treated me like her younger sister, and we are, even now, I have left the family, but even now, the shoes that my daughter is wearing, I'm getting from that family. And my NHIF, the National Health Insurance Fund, they're the one who pays for my NHIF every year. And I'm really, really humble for that family.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, how does one get cervical cancer? Because I want to get into why it is important to actually get this vaccine.
Okay. What I have, first of all, I'm not a doctor.
Yes, of course.
And I will talk maybe through my experience, or what I have had. So, first of all, cervical cancer, we get cervical cancer through HPV, that is human papilloma virus. And as women, we are carriers. You see, most of the time when we talk about HPV, we blame the men. As women, we have them, and the men are the carriers. So the men carries from women. And where these HPV viruses, we have one get is a woman can be able to get it when she's sexually active. So if you are sexually active, that's why you are advised to do the cervical cancer screening. And the HPV viruses also affects men. But that maybe for men it is like penile cancer, and it really affects women because of the way our body parts, the way we are, our body parts we have venye tuko na uke wetu, uzao wetu. And for men, because it is outside, it is easier for them to be cleansed than to women. So when any woman, she is sexually active, that's why I started my journey at the age of 14, because I was already sexually active at the age of 13. So each woman who is sexually active, you need to do your pap smear or cervical cancer screening every year for them to detect if you have those viruses at the early stage. And when you are not cervical, when you are not sexually active, that's why you need to be given HPV vaccine. And that's why the government is giving the HPV vaccine for girls between 10 to 14 years.
I want you to talk about this because your daughter, like you said, is the ambassador for this. When did the government start giving out this? And why did you let your daughter be the ambassador?
Wow. First of all, before the government launched the HPV vaccine in 2019, we had some this if the people who are their kids are going to group of schools, they were vaccinating their girls. So we were waiting. It was very expensive, and for us we waited for the free vaccine, whereby the government launched it in 2019.
Yes.
And I gave my daughter the vaccine because I can tell someone who is listening today, don't just see this body. This is the side effect of the treatment, the steroids, because the treatment that we are getting, it has a lot of steroids. And then also, I got to early menopause. That's why you can see my body is big. Don't be confused with this body. So I vaccinated my daughter because I never wanted my daughter to go through what I went through. Treating cancer is very expensive, and also going through the cancer journey, because you can be treated cancer, but you still have to walk that journey. I still have my side effects. Sometimes I go to the hospital and the doctor tells me they are seeing something, and I go back to continue with the treatment. So don't wait for your daughter to come to you in the next 10 or 30 years asking you the question, why didn't you protected me? And that is what I gave my daughter. That is the best gift that I can feel that I gave it to my daughter.
Okay. Let's talk about support. First of all, cancer survivors, are you still on treatment right now for this?
Okay, cancer is a journey.
Yes.
And as you heard, my cancer was at advanced stage 4, so I didn't do the surgery. I still have my uterus, but it is not working. So I'm still going for my review, my checkups after every 3 months, sometimes after every 6 months, sometimes after every 2 weeks. It depends how my body is going. And sometimes I go to the hospital and the doctor tells me I see something, so I need to go back to the chemotherapy. So cancer is a journey.
So you still take medication?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Let's talk about symbol of hope now, because this is really what we have now, First of all, I'm really interested in this crying. What are some of those things that members of your group have gone through that when they come, they just want to cry fast and not even talk about anything? What are some of these deep issues that they have gone through, you included?
Wow, you need to come and visit our group. So
Yes.
most of the things that we talk is the challenges, especially being neglected by your family, especially even maybe you don't have someone who understands you, and then when you are having cancer is a bit chronical. You'll find out you are having these bad dreams. You'll find out even you have a dream planning your own burial, and maybe someone stood in the dream and talked bad things. So that dream will continue affecting you until you hate that person who you saw in the dream talking negative about you. And another things that we are going through, the side effect of chemotherapy is not easy. Is not easy. That can make anyone to be emotional, and also you are welcome to see it for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
But tell me a little about the side effects. People need to know this. What are some of the side effects?
The side effect, you lose your hair, and then you use your taste, the taste of the food, and you feel like fatigue, and then part of the side effect is also you feel like nobody cares about you. So even we have some of the patients, if they don't get the right support, they also commit suicide. And we have met the families. So it's very hectic.
Okay. You told me that just doing this is therapy.
Yes.
She does this and cries while
Yes.
she's doing it sometimes. And she's actually told me of instances where someone just walks into where she is, gets this, and just does a small carpet while crying, and when they're done they just leave.
Yes, without talking. Making this carpet, it's a therapy. And for the patients, they know, they treat, my house is like a small hospital, whereby, despite that I'm not a nurse or a doctor, but through experience, I know how to guide patient or to talk to them. So you'll find out maybe the patient has a wound, and maybe her husband or the wife spoke bad things about the wound. So the patient decides to come to the house, and they start making the carpets, because the carpets is the only person that you will talk to, and he won't judge you. Most of the people, when you are going through cancer journey, sometimes you need someone to listen to you and not to judge you. But it is not easy to find such a person to hold space for you. And when they come to my house, they feel like now this is the right place.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you also have men who have this type of cancer?
Yes.
They also come to your group?
When I started Symbol of Hope Warriors, I told myself, because it is the first organization to be in East Lando, so if I decided to take only the cervical cancer, the other people who are going through other cancers, they wouldn't have a place to go. So it is open to anyone as long as you have cancer. And then we have men who have bladder cancer, we have men who has penis cancer, we have men who has prostate cancer, we have men who has pancreatic cancer. So Symbol of Hope is a family. So we have breast cancer, cervical cancer, penile, vulvar cancer, uterus cancer, ovarian cancer. That's why we are in big numbers.
Okay. So if somebody wants to, support, members of Symbol of Hope, or, the way, first of all, you're giving them a place to stay while they go to Kenyatta, which is really, really commendable. One of the things that really are a problem to many when they come to Nairobi is where to stay when they're going for this treatment. But you've offered your house as a place they can come to. You're offering, a place that they can, I'm sure you're training people on how to even make these carpets, so that they can get to make it and have some source of livelihood. So whoever wants to actually support this, how can they get to you so that they can also get to support this? Perhaps your number, or where they can find you on Facebook or something.
Okay, we have our website, www.sohws.org. And then we have a Facebook page, Symbol of Hope Warriors, and you can see Symbol of Hope Warriors. We have a Facebook page, and we also have an email, info.sohws.org.
Okay. Give us your number.
Oh, my number.
Yes.
I'm Millicent. My number is 0724 90 42 84. And also, you are welcome to see our support group. Maybe you have a team.
Where do you guys meet? The support group?
We meet at Kariobangi North Health Center or Kariobangi North PAG Church. And
Are there particular days?
Because of COVID, before COVID we were meeting every last Friday of the month, but when COVID started we are meeting in small numbers. So if you have a team, maybe a church or maybe a chama, you want to visit us, you are very welcome. You can tell me, coming this day I can organize for you to meet a patient. But with or without COVID, we normally meet once a year, that is in December, because we want, even when we are doing the celebration, even the patients to celebrate. So we do it the last week of before Christmas, and then we celebrate together, we eat, we dance together.
This is the one I told you I'll come and cover and I'll bring something.
Yes, you need to
tell
come.
us about it.
So
it's done the Christmas week?
Yes, before Christmas,
Before
maybe
Christmas?
2 or 3 days to Christmas. We do it at Kariobangi North Health Center, and we come all of us, so
and
that
there's cooking
there's
and all
cooking,
that,
there
and,
is
and
eating,
giving out,
there is dancing, and also the patient needs to have a Christmas package for them to celebrate on Christmas and also on the New Year.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, because we'll be coming, AROKA Media has to come. Give us a little of how we package this thing. We put some sugar, some oil, or what? At
Okay.
least the package for one person to go with. Before we multiply it by the number of,
Okay, in the package, I love them to have maize flour, chapati wheat flour, cooking oil, sugar. But because I want it to be uniform,
Yes.
so that you can choose if you are bringing us one bundle of maize flour or one bundle, so that when we are going to package them, we normally package them at Kariobangi North Health Center. We need everyone to go with uniform, because sometimes you can put in yours sugar and maybe
Another person
we are
does
not
not
able
have.
to get sugar.
Yes.
So if you are bringing us sugar, just bring sugar. We will know how we are going to share it.
Nice. I hope you've heard that, and of course we'll also put her number there so you can get to contact her. If you'd like to support her as a group or even as an individual. I'm already supporting by buying this. You said it's called chafua.
Chafua.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll get this chafua myself. It's going for 18,000 bob. You can get that for your house. It's handmade, as you can see, and it's very good material here. It's very soft and very warm. I've got young children, so I really want something really warm for them in the house. You can support by buying this. They also have smaller sizes,
Yes.
Those ones that go for how much?
We have the ones that they are going at 3,000. Even half of it, it can go to by 9,000. We have the smaller sizes. 3,000. And you can also choose the design that you want.
Yes. Me, I found her doing this and I said I'm picking this one. So whether we will now start doing for my corridor and the bedrooms, that we can always talk about. But apart from just buying it because you want something warm, buy it to actually support what they are doing.
Yes.
I really love the fact that she went through something, but now she's out here trying to find ways in which others might not have to get to the point that she got to, so that they can get to the hospital and actually get help early enough. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for just sharing your story with us. Is there anything else perhaps leaving out that you'd like to share?
Maybe I would love to insist, please come and visit us on our Christmas, because we depend on every one of us to make that day.
That we will definitely come, and I'll pull my friends as well, to give us a little something so that we can go and appreciate those who are you know, cancer survivors, those who are still going through treatment and they really need our help. And I love something that she said, the love is more important. You know, there is the treatment, but when you lack the love, then you lose it all, you know. So even if you cannot give much, you know, you have the number there, you can just call and, you know, show some love. Tell that person, I'm here and I can feel you, you know. Somebody is sharing your pain, you know. That's why I really loved the fact that people could just come to your place and just cry together, you know.
Yes.
There's so much going on. And if you can just do that, you know, show them some love, that would really be epic for us. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Pleasure.
Impact is always about touching a life somewhere, and I'm really sure this is going to touch lives out there. My name is Millicent AROKA. Do subscribe to our channel AROKA Media, plus get to like, share and leave a comment down there.